I had never been more turned on in my life. I saw a guy, probably in his 50s, standing on his balcony naked and pleasuring himself. Then he saw me watching. I was ready to turn and run away, but instead of reacting embarrassed, he just held eye contact with me until he finished. Then he winked at me and went back inside.
That is a power move.
I knew going back the next day probably wouldn't warrant any results, but I had to try. Same time, same place, I went for a walk. And to my surprise and joy, welcome back to Delve Deck Stories. Today we have some gay dating stories.
Ooh.
Our first story is from Lucas, and it's, what is the best encounter you've ever had with a stranger, from the Joy Deck? My first relationship was with a guy I never spoke to. Is this a riddle?
What is happening?
Is he mute?
Oh. I was closeted until my late 20s, so I didn't do a lot of dating, but was always a romantic and hoped that one day I would meet my Prince Charming. When I finally came out and was accepted by my friends and family, I couldn't wait to get a boyfriend. I had listened to all of their dating stories. It was time for them to listen to mine. Only problem is I'm pretty socially awkward, and I had no idea how to get a boyfriend. I tried apps, but those seemed to just be for hookups. No one was actually trying to fall in love. Then one day, I was walking through my neighborhood, and I saw a guy, probably in his 50s, standing on his balcony naked and pleasuring himself.
Oh, so that was a little bit unexpected.
This
I'll say that I didn't see that coming. How about that?
This is a plot twist.
It's certainly something.
Just right there in the open. I couldn't help it. I stopped and stared.
Was he hot? Was he a hot 50-year-old? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know if you're
Was
looking.
he like one of those like zaddies?
He was extremely fit and very well endowed.
Yeah,
I wasn't
right.
surprised he was putting it all on display.
Ah!
Then he saw me watching. I was ready to turn and run away, but instead of reacting embarrassed, he just held eye contact with me until he finished. Then he winked at me and went back inside.
That is a power move. Also, I just want to point out that if this were to happen to anyone else, specifically women, it'd be very creepy,
if a
very
man held
predatory.
eye contact with me, I'd be like, no thank you. A
I
man
don't
did
know,
show
that's
me
crazy.
his dick on the street recently, actually.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, this past week.
Did he take a second and like whip his pants down, or was it just already out?
He pulled down his pants and pulled it out and said, "Hey, can I be your boyfriend?"
Wow. That's
Wow.
like really.
I just remember.
So what'd you
that.
say?
So we're dating now.
You're like, I put it so far down, but this story brought it back
I'm
up to the surface.
I really forgot that happened.
Sorry to make you remember that.
Oh, man.
So anyway, I should find him.
Yeah.
I had never been more turned on in my life.
Lucas is into it.
I knew going back the next day probably wouldn't warrant any results, but I had to try. Same time, same place, I went for a walk. And to my surprise and joy, he was there again, naked and touching himself. This guy has a routine.
Yeah.
He's like 3 to 4, make myself come on the balcony. I am busy.
When he saw me, he smiled and held eye contact again until he finished and went inside.
And winked.
I know it sounds pathetic, but I was completely smitten. He's like, I don't want to meet with all these guys trying to hook up on dating apps, but this is love.
He's
Yeah.
like watching through the glass. He's like, I feel safe here.
So this is good. I started going back there every day at the same time,
Wow.
and he was there waiting for me. He never said a word, and neither did I, but I was crushing hard.
I want to know how far they are from each other.
I know. I'm like, where is this balcony?
Like, is he on the 4th floor or is he
I
on
feel
the
like
ground
it's
level?
gotta be somewhat. I mean, if
like
it's a balcony,
second
it's not
floor, I'm
ground level.
thinking.
Well, you can have a balcony that's like off
That's
the
like a
ground.
patio.
Oh my god. Okay,
Sorry.
fine. Like, is he like okay on the 2nd floor? Like, is he close enough where he could like jump
Well,
on the bottom and like climb up.
He runs and jumps. He's like, let me at it.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Gremlins. Also, is this guy just like doing this stuff and not cleaning up? Like, where is it going?
Where's
right?
it going?
Like, is it just
Why
going
he goes
out,
back inside,
out to the
Gabe.
public? Out is like it's
Just
out.
over the edge onto his downstairs neighbor.
He's
Yeah.
watering the flowers. Give
Oh,
him a
right.
break.
Yeah, the flowers. Yeah.
Mhm. Flowers
Come
love
on,
that.
can't a 50-year-old man into voyeurism do some good community service while he's jerking it and making eye contact with random pedestrians
Yeah.
he's never spoken a word to?
Meanwhile, the plant's like, oh, damn it. Not again.
Is it not again?
So why are all my plants dying? I started fantasizing about the day he would invite me inside and we would finally get to know each other, and maybe I could even introduce him to my parents.
I thought he was going to say introduce him to my penis. Really
Yeah.
thought that's where that was going.
No, this is-
He
he's a
invites me in.
romantic.
I invite him in. The point is, I really want to also know about this meet cute.
Yeah.
How do you explain this one?
Still a fun story.
Is it still a fun story?
I don't know. Not really. Kind of creepy. We'd have come up with a new story about how we met each other, but it would be a fun, flirty secret. I could picture it all. After a month of this,
Oh my god.
I
Wow.
started telling my friends I had a boyfriend.
You are insane.
30 days.
You are insane.
30 days of.
You've seen that man's dick 30 times, don't know his name, and
Maybe
now he's your
31, we don't know
boyfriend?
what month.
Yeah, or
We-
28. I
Yeah,
don't know.
was it a-
Could
was
be-
it a
could be
valley
February,
or
could
a-
be a
Let us
leap
know.
year.
Knuckle.
Let us know.
Yeah. But imagine that many days straight, no contact other than eye contact. And
When you know, you know.
when you know, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just like wild to.
This is like those guys who fall in love with like OnlyFans people.
Oh.
And become
yeah.
obsessed with
They're like, this is a real
and they're like, "We're
relationship. Yeah.
together, and you're like,
No, I know.
If I had to leave early or show up late to things, it would be because we had a date. They would ask me all about him, and I made up information based on the lies I was telling myself in my head.
This guy is married and has a
Yeah.
family. And this is his only. He's like, God damn, I
This
got.
is the only
He's like, I
thing
need a break
have."
from these people.
Then I showed up one day, and he wasn't there.
He's like, no!
He did it so many times he died.
Said by Shayla.
I waited for an hour, but there was no sign of him.
Okay, Lucas, honey, I am going to hold your hand when I tell you you're crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is just it's okay, buddy. It's gonna be okay.
You need
But therapy is helpful sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I started to worry. What if he did?
What if you got just lightheaded and you just fell over the balcony?
What if he didn't like me anymore?
Oh, yeah, that's it.
That's what he's thinking about too, for sure.
Oh
For sure.
no, I'm so sorry. Okay. The next day he was there again. I should have yelled, "Hey, what the hell is this? Where were you?"
Oh, that sounds so desperate. I needed this yesterday.
What
Where
is
were you?
What are we?
He goes,
It's like
so,
a Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
so
like
did the schedule
weird...
switch up and I didn't know?
Can we
You have to tell
define
me
the
about
relationship?
it, bro. Yeah, can we define it?
Stop going inside, please. Same time tomorrow.
Where were you yesterday?
Oof,
But
needy.
I didn't. I just watched and hoped that someday he would talk to me. Oh, no.
And like I said in the
Right?
beginning, he's mute. He can't talk.
Writing this all out, I know it sounds crazy, but he was my first real crush that was in any way reciprocated. This relationship went on for 4 months.
Oh, I thought you'd say 4 years.
Oh, Jesus. Could you imagine? In that time, he probably only missed 6 or 7 days, and I missed none. Then he finally spoke. What if he has a weird voice?
Hey! Why do you keep staring at me?
You like what you see? You want a
This
piece of me?
has been really fun.
Come inside.
Say no. I'm married.
He finished for me, but instead of going inside, he leaned over the railing. I was like,
Spit.
oh my God, it's happening. He's going to invite me inside. What's your name? He asked. So who the are you?
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, so now that that's out of the way.
What's wrong with you?
What if this whole time
you good?
he didn't have the guy out in the balcony needed glasses, and so he was just staring, and the guy down there was like, "Oh, he's making eye contact with me."
He's like, I thought it was a statue.
I was imagining you was someone else other than you was.
Lucas, I replied. Nice to meet you, Lucas. This has been a lot of fun. He was so sweet and friendly, and I was praying he would ask me out, but no. I'm really sorry to say it, but I've started seeing someone, and he wants to be monogamous. We have to stop doing this.
Oh my God, so Lucas wasn't actually crazy. Lucas actually, like, was in a relationship?
In a way, I guess he was kind of
I
right.
guess.
Yeah.
I feel like this guy was like, oh, this is like a weird sex thing I'm doing, and now I can't do the sex thing anymore.
Yeah. Like,
I don't
no
know
one-
if this man would call it a relationship.
Yeah. Also, the new boyfriend, the monogamous boyfriend, would not know about this little thing they did unless he was either present for it at some point.
He was supposed to show up for it. It like was for him. He's in watching somewhere else.
And he's like, "My name's Charlie." No, my name's Charlie.
God damn it, no! Oh, okay, was all I could say. He smiled and went back inside. That was the last time I ever saw him. Of course, I went back a few times to see if he was there, but no, he kept his promise.
Bummer.
I just imagine those scenes in movies where like the boyfriend who's been just crushed is outside the house and it's raining.
Yeah.
And then you look up at the
Boombox.
window and you're like, their silhouette, and then it's a new guy that comes in and you're like, God damn.
Totally. I was devastated. I told my friends I had been dumped, and they were all very supportive, but it took a while for me to finally admit that my first real relationship wasn't a relationship at all. It was just a fun thing for this guy who had a voyeurism fetish. I don't regret it at all, but it's a little embarrassing when I think about how obsessed I was. We live and we all learn.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, we all go a little crazy sometimes.
Love makes you insane.
Yeah,
It's totally okay.
It really does, especially first love.
Just imagine if he
Unwell.
would have just said something earlier.
I think the fact that he didn't is what made it as exciting as it was.
Yeah. I think that's the only way this worked.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying like.
What's your name?
Yeah. Any
So,
possibility
what's
of
your
like,
fucking
hey,
deal, dude.
hey, I've been watching you. I've been watching you come.
Can
What's
I
your
come
name?
inside?
Yeah.
So you
You?
want to hang out, or
So what are we?
Yeah.
can we define the relationship, please?
Are we exclusive?
Our next story is from Marshall, and it's who is the worst person you've ever dated from the venting deck.
Who is it, Marshall? Give it to me, Marshall.
Marshall.
He tried to trick me into cheating on him.
Oh.
Interesting.
Marshall's like, and if I do
He's
this,
got like
then
a
he'll do
cuckold
this.
fetish, maybe,
Oh yeah, like maybe he wanted to catch it.
or we'll see. I got my first real boyfriend in my early 20s. He was a couple years older than me, but really jealous, possessive, and clingy.
Boo! Tomato.
He didn't want me hanging out with other gay guys without him. He complained entirely too much about his last boyfriend who cheated on him. I should have seen all the red flags, but he was very hot and love bombed me, so I fell for it.
Classic.
Love a
People
good
not
love
letting
bomb.
you have friends,
That's a bad sign.
not cool.
That's
not
a
cool.
really, really bad sign.
A few months into dating him, I saw an uptick in DMs from guys on Insta. I ignored this, but thought it was weird that I was suddenly getting all these DMs, so I finally replied to one and was like, how do you find my profile? I have like 200 followers and don't post that much. So I thought it was weird that all these guys were DMing me all of a sudden. The dude replied and was like, oh, I just saw your profile, thought you were hot. I ignored this, but that night when I saw my boyfriend, he was being really pissy with me, and I was like, what's up with you? And he goes, I feel like you're talking to other guys behind my back. I told him I was not. He asked what I would do if a hot guy DM'd me and tried to hit on me, And then I realized my boyfriend might be behind the DMs.
Yeah, that's suspicious timing. He's like,
So he has a bunch of burner accounts?
Yeah, it's either burner or he's like paying people.
I wonder who his Pinterest
Wow.
boy is. Like which Pinterest dude he's using.
Yeah. Come on. This is
It's also
it's a lot of work.
That's a self-fulfilling prophecy at a certain point, because like you want to see if someone's going to do this, but one, hire someone else to do a loyalty test, like honestly, because your partner's cheating with you if you do this. Like you didn't catch anyone. That's like,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Also, like, he didn't say anything weird. Just like, what
Why
are
did
you doing?
Howd
Yeah.
you find me?
I asked him how he knew I was getting DMs from other guys. He told me he just had a gut feeling. I told him I didn't believe him. He accused me of cheating, and we ended up getting into a huge fight. I should have just ended things, but after avoiding him for a few days, he went back to love bombing me and saying he missed me and didn't want to fight.
Boo. That is bad behavior.
Yes. I should not have taken the bait, but against my better judgment, I agreed to come out with him and his friends for drinks.
It's okay, Marshall. We all make mistakes.
Yeah. First real relationship, maybe? Is that what we're getting here?
Probably.
Yeah, 1st real boyfriend. We all
Canon event.
screw that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
We get to this bar, which attracts a mixed crowd, and things seem to be fine until I go to the bar to get a drink. A guy rolls up and tries to chat me up.
Damn, Marshall, you are a hot commodity.
Yeah, because people are getting paid to hit on him. I think, right?
I'm assuming
Oh,
that
that's
they're
right.
getting paid. They go to a place online, whatever it might be, and you
Or
know,
he's like, or his
or he really does have that rig.
boyfriend has made like a fake Grindr account or something, or
No,
like
yeah.
I don't know. I
See,
feel
that's
like
the
these
thing, like,
people,
when
he's
it-
like setting this up.
when
His
it,
boyfriend's on Grindr looking for him, so his
Yeah.
boyfriend's on Grindr, but he's not.
because when the guy said, "Saw your profile, thought you were hot," my instant kind of thought was like, is his link to his Instagram account somewhere else? And when they say bio or saw your profile or whatever, they're referring to the
Right.
other one.
Yeah,
That's what I think is happening.
I agree.
He basically just like he's like trying to like honeypot his boyfriend.
I tell the guy I am with my boyfriend and go back to our table. My boyfriend is glaring at me and asking why I was talking to this other guy. It was literally, it's so brief. If you're telling the truth, Marshall, and you just said, "Oh, I have a boyfriend, like I'm with someone,"
Yeah.
that's so brief. Like, why would you get?
I feel like it's also like you can see that with your own eyes. He didn't stay there long. And
right,
talk.
exactly.
Yeah. But it's clearly like evident the boyfriend is trying to
he's
start.
Jealous
Yeah.
and definitely trying to start.
But then I'm also like, is he jealous? Yes, but is it like a kink of his where he's like, I want to start something to get something going and heated and passionate?
I feel like
I don't know.
I think that he is deeply jealous. He was cheated on before, and it's like become a self-fulfilling prophecy where
right.
he wants to. He's like,
everyone's gonna cheat on me."
Everyone's gonna cheat, so I'm gonna make it happen.
I love that Marshall this whole time has been like, "What's going on here?" And he's like, "I knew it.
Am
knew
I
it."
having a
Yeah.
glow up right now?
Yeah. Marshall's like, okay.
Marshall's like, "Dear diary, today."
Another person complimented me.
I explained he came up to me and nothing happened, but he's in a bad mood for the rest of the night.
Boo.
The next day, I told my friends about this, and at this point, they hate my boyfriend and are totally convinced he was sending me the DMs on Insta. They suggested I reply to one of them and set up a date to see who shows up. So I DM one of the Instagram dudes and tell him I want to meet up that night.
I
This
don't
is
know
such
about
a mess.
that.
This is such a mess. This is.
I just.
I feel like the way I would handle this is I would just be like, whatever his boyfriend's name is, I'd be like, I know it's you. I'd just like be like,
I mean, I would probably just try to be in the same room as him and like send the
A
DMs
message and
back
see-
and see.
yeah, that's smart.
If his phone lights up, yeah.
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 Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of different ways I would go about this besides setting up to meet the catfish. That is my boyfriend who is
Right.
convinced I'm already cheating on him. And now he's even more convinced because
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, and also, sorry, but if I was trying to catch my partner cheating and he's like, I knew it was you the whole time, I'd be like, yeah, that's a really likely excuse.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no, you knew. You're handsome
Yeah,
bitch.
I feel like I would.
Just send him an
I would just-
unsolicited random person's dick pic. And then see what happens.
Yeah, because you're like, that's not mine. You know my peen. And it does not look like that.
Send a real weird
Or
one.
So I was going to say the
Oh.
weirder the better.
What if you just sent the boyfriend's dick pic
Back
to
to him.
Oh, wait, that's
That's
actually
kind of funny.
genius.
Yeah.
He'd be like, wait.
It's like, wait a second.
I know
This
that
looks
mole.
familiar.
No.
That's me.
Tilt slightly to the left like that.
Huh? When I get to the cafe, of course my boyfriend is there waiting. But at that point, I kind of expected it. As soon as he sees me, he goes, "See, I knew you were a cheater. Busted." At this point, I had already made up my mind to break up with him if he was there, so I just waited for him to finish his tantrum. And once he was done, I told him I knew he was the one sending the DMs and was fed up with the games, and we were done.
I would have written a letter before I'd gotten there of this whole thing being like, I know it was you.
That's genius.
Because walking in, they'd be like, oh, what? And then you can make whatever excuse.
You
you want.
drop the
Yeah.
scroll. It sends through the aisle.
I just
Yeah.
like have the thing and be like, look, I wrote this beforehand. I knew you were going to be here. I knew that you had done this.
Gabe really
This
is
is
like,
like,
Gabe's like, I will not be accused of being a cheater.
I will play you at your own game. I
He's
will
literally
beat
like,
you.
oh, really? Receipts, timeline, evidence.
Yeah.
Is this your card?
I told him the only reason I showed up to the date was to make sure I was right before ending things. He tried to play the victim, but I was completely fed up and told him it was over. Lesson learned, no more jealous boyfriends. Yeah, that's a little extreme. Took it a little
mean-
far.
I would be a little flattered if someone were going that far out of their way to, like, I don't know,
Yeah.
check on me. I just think it's sweet in a way.
You know, that's what friends are for.
What if,
You don't have to have a partner
I don't
that's
know,
doing that.
I feel like he would do this to anyone, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just feel like really special though. So that's like maybe something I need to address on my own.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
I know.
No, you don't get it. I know.
I know.
Yeah, crazy works on me. What do you want? Like, okay, next story.
We all have our
please.
Our next story is from Charlie, and it's what's the wildest plot twist you've experienced in real life from the All Swim Beach Ball? I showed up to my date, and he was with another guy. I got set up to go on a date with Mark by my sister, which I usually wouldn't agree to, but I guess I was feeling down on myself and was like, what the hell, give me his number. We texted for a few days, sent each other pictures, and agreed to grab drinks. Day of the date arrives, and I unfortunately was tied up at work, so I ended up arriving 15 minutes late. I texted Mark to let him know and said I was so sorry. He didn't respond, which didn't have me feeling great, but I figured if I got stood up for being 15 minutes late, this wasn't the guy for me anyway.
Oh.
I arrived at the bar, looked around, and spotted Mark. At first, I felt relief, which was then replaced by shock when I saw that he was sitting with some other guy. I thought maybe he just made friends with this guy at the bar when he was waiting for me. So I walk over and wave. Mark gives me a confused look. I was like, "Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Charlie." Mark gives me another blank stare. I'm starting to think, oh shit, did I approach the wrong guy? When Mark says, "Charlie?" Like the Charlie I'm supposed to be on a date with? I was like, yeah. And he goes, "I'm sorry, this is really awkward. This guy told me he's Charlie."
Oh, wow. Wow. Wait a second. Hold on. Profile
well-
pictures?
So, no, well, maybe he knew because the other guy came up and said, Charlie, and he goes,
He was like,
"That could be."
yes.
Yeah. And then I think that's maybe what happened. Because there's no other way that he would know to say, I'm Charlie.
Yeah.
Other than somebody said,
Are you Charlie? And he is like, yeah, I'll go on
I
a date
can
with
be.
you.
Yeah.
I can be Charlie.
Yeah. I can be whatever you want. Are you Pam?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a level of swindlery.
Yeah.
Swindlery.
Especially because you're like, this guy's got to show up probably.
Yeah.
He-
The amount
Yeah, actually, what the hell is fake Charlie doing?
Yeah.
He's living his best life.
Actually,
Yeah.
I got a question or two for fake Charlie.
I want to know, where do you get the ball?
Actually, fake Charlie, I'm kind of into this. So
I turned to look at the guy, no idea what was happening or what I was supposed to do. I guess we look similar if you think all white guys with brown hair look the same.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah. You're Charlie was all I could think to say. Yeah, my name is Charlie, he responded. I should have said prove it, but instead I showed my phone to Mark and was like, these are the texts we've been sending each other. I don't know who this guy is, but I'm the Charlie you agreed to go on a date with.
he said, remember your oath.
Yeah.
Remember.
You can't be with some other Charlie.
This is going to be really awkward when there's only one of us that walks out of
Yeah.
here, Charlie.
Okay, so we fight to the death.
Oh, I didn't know
Like
I was
the
prepared for a
Greeks.
duel
Actually
tonight.
is a whole Greek thing. This is totally a Greek.
The Greeks were freaks, and they would have loved this YouTube
Yes.
episode.
Mm-hmm.
Ate it up
Um,
with grapes.
Mark looked confused and said to Charlie, why did you act like you were the guy I was meeting? I thought you were hot and it seemed like fate, Charlie responded. I thought that line was stupid, but Mark seemed smitten. You're like, oh, this is what you go for.
No, and I'm this level of crazy that this would work on me. If I were supposed to be meeting a different person there
someone
and
was
someone
like-
happened to have the same name and you think I'm hot,
Also, like, does he have the same name?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not sure.
still not sure. There's been no proof.
so
Yeah.
I'm also learning that I'm very gullible.
Okay, well, I'm the one who's supposed to be on this date, not you, I said, annoyed and probably sounding like a petulant child. Hey, there's no need to get angry, Charlie started to say, fake Charlie. I'm not angry, I said, obviously angry.
Imagine being gaslit by your clone.
Yeah. You're
I'm
like,
not-
You're like, you're the body snatcher.
I'm not angry. You stole my date. This is my date. This is mine.
By the end of it, he's like, you know what I think you should do? I think you should just pay for me and my date's meal
Yeah.
because you interrupted and were so rude. And then real Charlie's like, yeah, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I could see fake Charlie doing that.
Exactly what I see happening.
Charlie starts to respond, but Mark interjects and is like, hey, we don't have to get mad. This is a really awkward situation. I'm sorry it happened. That was my mistake. I thought, thank God, now maybe this guy will leave. But then Mark continued on and said, but I'm not upset. I made the mistake. Maybe this was meant to happen and
Yep.
we should all get to know each other.
Oh, shut up. The Greeks would be freaking out at this part.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing, but held it together and politely declined. I left the bar super pissed off and called my sister to tell her what happened. She acted like it was an innocent mistake, which made me more angry, and I reminded myself to never let her set me up again. She's like, no, he's a good guy.
I mean, imagine them telling their story of how they met. Let's say they get married and all that
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
right? And like,
Mark
how'd you
and
meet? And
fake
he's
Charlie.
like, oh, well, I totally just stole this date from some
Yeah.
guy, pretended to be
Honestly,
Charlie.
That's a great
That's
meet
like
cute.
a really great.
It's a great
These two
meet
have
cute.
a great story. It's
Sorry,
kind of a fun
Charlie.
story.
I mean, come on. I feel bad for Charlie.
I do
you know?
too.
recover.
But like, he'll be fine.
You know what? This is why nice guys are like, oh, I gotta be assholes now. It's because they get
Show up to
treated
your
like
date on-
this.
Show up to your date on
Oh,
time.
he was working. No, he was working,
Show up
trying
to
to
your
get
date on time.
trying to get that
Text
cheddar,
Mark.
trying to make
He
that
was like,
bread.
text Mark.
finish last. Male loneliness epidemic. Bah, 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 bah,
Mhm. It's real, dog. Let me tell you. You know, we're real nice guys out here, and we're getting treated like crap. And as a result, we turn into the bad guys.
And that's actually how you guys sound.
Looking back on it, I don't think it was a mistake at all, and I'm convinced they were actually a couple who did this sort of thing to try to confuse
Oh.
guys into being their third.
Oh, I could see that. Okay.
I didn't think of this, but
Didn't think of it, but
The Greeks would love that plot.
that's also
Charlie.
tricky.
wicked smart.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
Who knows what it was, but
I don't know. I kind of feel like that's the
would
thing.
you go along with it? What would you do in this situation if you're Charlie, real Charlie?
I honestly think that I would have been like, oh yeah, totally honest mistake. We can all have drinks together. Like I'm literally that. Sure, friendly.
Why not?
We'd sit down and get drunk, and they'd be like, "Wait, are you guys both hitting on me? This is really weird. I gotta
You're
go.
like, I have to go home.
I'm like, wait a second.
This is too
Doesn't
much for
make any
me.
sense.
I'm overstimulated. Actually, I've decided.
I think I would probably leave because I'd be like, this is so annoying already. I'm going to go get a slice of pizza.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go have a beer by myself or whatever it is. Like, I feel like I would leave after dealing with this, being gaslit,
Yeah,
lie
I think
to.
the part where they're like, well, also, I guess Charlie's not that on. If someone was like, no, I'm Tess, I'd be like, no, the f*** you aren't.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe you.
Show me your birth certificate.
Yeah. Our next story is from Leah, and it's who is the worst person you've ever dated from the original deck.
Give it to me, Leah.
My ex used me to get to my brother.
Oh.
Okay.
Smart. I mean, what?
Gabe's like, oh, so that's how you do it.
Okay. Let me listen closer.
You're like, God damn it, my wife has no brothers. I dated a girl in high school that was what I would consider popular, and it didn't make sense to me. Not only was she a grade above me, but she had hit on me first, and even though I was confused, I just went with it, and she became my first girlfriend ever.
You're like, wait, you're into me? All
Just
right.
like,
Yeah.
cool.
You know what? Hell yeah.
I feel like in high school, if a popular kid likes you and you're not popular, you're just like, well, I guess
I have to.
I guess this is love.
No,
This is the way.
I remember I was told, like, in freshman year, there was a guy that started to like me, and I was like, you guys are punking me. You're all punking me. And they were
Yeah.
like, we're not punking you. And I was like, nah, you're fucking with me. It's life-changing.
Yeah. Did you guys date?
No.
At first, it was great. And then after a few weeks, she started asking if we could hang out with my brother, too, since he was in our class and she didn't want him to feel left out. And I said, sure. Darius is my twin. He's very introverted and broody and doesn't have many friends. I got the personality in the womb.
He ate his personality.
Yeah, she
said,
she
"I'll
ate it.
Oh, she
she
ate
was
it.
like, I'll have all that.
She said, in for seconds, I'll take any passions you might have ever had.
Yeah. From then on, anytime we were doing anything, she would always ask if I invited Darius. So all three of us hung out all the time. I thought it was super sweet that she wanted to make sure my family was included at first. Then I began to realize that if I said Darius couldn't come, that she no longer wanted to go.
Classic.
Wait, who's going
In
to
a
be
weird
there?
way.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'd love to go out tonight. Who's coming? Oh, no, I can't go.
Never mind, I'm actually super busy. She wasn't particularly chatty with me otherwise, but I chalked it up to her being tired from school and just getting bursts of energy. It was when she came over to watch a movie one night that I started to suspect something was amiss. When Darius came down to watch with us, he sat next to me. Megan then said she needs to get a glass of water. And when she comes back, she doesn't sit where she originally was. She sits on the side of me that is close to Darius.
On his lap.
Yeah, she says she's
like, oh,
him.
is this seat taken?
And starts
Yeah.
kissing him. It was so weird.
Can you sit on the ground instead?
I want to know how much she committed to this. Like, are we just hanging out with each other, high school dating?
Yeah.
Are we making out?
I think
how
Ooh.
far are we going just to get with this brother?
I'm wondering
well, whatever
as
it is,
well.
it's not subtle at all.
No.
It's 100%
What do you
obvious.
mean? I thought Megan was doing a great job.
Yeah, I think Megan.
Girl, please.
We love Megan. Girl.
Megan, I support women's rights and wrongs.
I feel like you're young, you're just you're figuring things out, and
Yeah.
I think that she might just be getting played so hard. Poor
Oh,
girl.
yeah.
She's
She,
like,
maybe she wasn't even. Maybe this girl wasn't even into her, and she's like, she wanted to go to dinner. or
yeah, she's like, we're dating.
Yeah. And Darius,
she's-
meanwhile, doesn't even know what's going on.
No, everybody is clueless except Megan.
Uh-huh.
Leah's like, she won't
Megan's
hold
playing
my
chess.
hand, but she's just saving herself. As the movie goes on, she latches onto Darius's arm during a scary scene in the movie and buries her head into his shoulder.
Oh,
Classic
give me a
move.
break, Megan.
Classic move.
And then she's like, Those armpits smell good.
She goes,
What are
you
you wearing?
smell different
Axe?
when you're awake.
Phoenix?
Axe Phoenix, yeah, probably.
Is that Old Spice? I really love Old Spice. Is that the antiperspirant? I really like it.
And then, even worse, she doesn't unlatch from him. Darius is just staring straight ahead watching the movie, but as soon as Megan leaves, I am asking him why he didn't move her away. Before Darius can lock himself away in his room after Megan leaves, I ask him if he thought it was weird the way she hung on to him, and he says, no, Megan is crazy.
Oh.
Okay. Before pulling out his phone and showing me the countless DMs she'd sent him on Instagram.
No.
Some from even before we were together. Bro, help your sister out.
He said, oh, you're dating Megan? Good luck.
Yeah, like, you're not going to be like, hey, twin.
He goes,
sibling.
No, you know.
Yeah, we don't have this like mind meld going on, or are they like that
he's like,
disconnected?
it's not my fault you didn't read my mind.
He said, you didn't open the Bluetooth message I sent you? That's like absolutely insanity.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's your fault for sure.
Dude, and you didn't tell me? I've been dating her for like a month. Were you dating?
Were you just in the same proximity?
He takes his phone back and shrugs. Figured you'd figure it out.
Oh, very helpful. Thank you so much.
Anyway, she's been obsessed with me for years. Thought you knew that. Why would I know that? He shrugs again. Twin telepathy. This is what we're saying. I mean, honestly, this is all I've heard about twins. It sounds scary.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want anyone reading my mind.
Yeah.
Have you seen those Australian twins that are like, we
Yes, the ones who talk at the same time.
And
Great. Love that.
I'm like, I love playing pretend with my friends too.
So I broke up with Megan, and she put up a huge fight because she claimed she knew she was meant to be in our family, and she wasn't giving up on marrying in. Genuinely crazy. What, you're going to marry her and then be like, and then I'm going to get with your twin. Mm-hmm. Girl, come on.
She's like, I don't know which one, but one of you is going to put a ring on it. I know it.
She's like, I'll baby trap one of you.
If you could peek into Megan's window at night, she is on her hands praying. Like, she's on her knees praying, and then she whips out a book of affirmations, and she says, I will marry you into this family. I will marry you into this family. And then she takes the lock of hair that she took from Leah.
She's like, if I can't find it between you two twins, I'm going to go to your parents.
This is what I was going to say. I was like, don't rule out mom and dad.
She's going to play the long game, and then she's going to wait, and then she's going to be like, oh, oops.
Uh-oh, I'm your new stepmom. Mm-hmm. Isn't that hot, Darius? Our final story is from Lori, and it's, what's the wildest plot twist you've experienced in real life from the All Swim Beach Ball? My first girlfriend was my old youth pastor's daughter.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yes.
Love that. I grew up going to this Christian church in my hometown. It was cool. I enjoyed the friends I got out of it, and it didn't hurt to have summer camp to look forward to every year. By the time I was in high school, I was confident that I was not interested in boys. Of course, this realization was helped by a truth or dare makeout session with Tommy Lorgan, where he stuck his tongue in my mouth, and I actually had to stop myself from throwing up.
You know, I get that. I was watching Love Island, and this guy they all were just making out with each other, and I just thought about all that spit.
Yeah.
I just can't do that.
You can't think about making out too much.
I also hear Tommy Lorgan, and I go, this guy would just like jab a tongue in.
Exactly.
He's a tongue jabber. I wasn't necessarily out to any of the kids in the youth group, but I was really close to the youth pastor's daughter. He was an all right guy, a little uptight, but cool enough to entertain high schoolers for the 7 p.m. Sunday session. Me and Krista, his daughter, were an unlikely friendship that started when we got put in the same cabin one summer. Yes, we had youth group summer camp. I finally came out to her when we were 17, coincidentally also because of a truth or dare game, and she confessed that she was also unsure if she liked boys or not. We united in queer solidarity and kept each other's secrets. That summer, going into our senior year of high school, we were in the same cabin again for the youth retreat. The girls' cabins decided they were going to prank the boys one night, And of course, we were all for it. Permission to be outside of your cabin after dark? That's crazy.
That is so crazy. One time, I was out of my cabin after dark, and I went right back in because there was a bear sighting. What? Yeah.
Was this a Christian camp?
I have dabbled with Christian summer camps. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was actually a bear?
Yeah.
Not like some sort of...
Yeah, it wasn't like some propaganda to be like, God saved you from the bear. Like, there was actually a bear.
Did they unleash the bear?
Uh-huh.
Well, nobody was wounded, so I feel like if they wanted a success story, at least one of us would have had to be wounded.
Yeah, but they scared you back in the cabin, and to which they said,
scared you straight.
This is where God is, this home.
I said, beware of bears.
Yeah, beware of the bears.
Yeah.
Wow. I
Clearly you
learned a lot.
didn't pick up on this as a kid.
I guess I'm inadequate.
So, dressed in all black with glow sticks to light our way, Krista and I snuck out alongside the other upper-class girls to the boys' side of camp. We were designated to one of the furthest cabins in the cabin loop and set off with toilet paper to throw all over the dwelling. It's just Krista and I throwing the rolls and silently laughing at our cabin. And Krista decides she needs to climb on my shoulders to get the toilet paper onto the roof of the cabin for maximum prankery.
Oh, God, girl, if you don't wind up that arm and toss it like a cannon, Krista! Damn it!
But is she sitting? Is she standing on the shoulders? Like, what is she doing?
Standing? That sounds dangerous. What are we? Is this circus camp?
Yeah, dude.
Come on.
These are kids, man. They're nimble. They can like jump up, throw stuff.
Yeah, kids those age bounce.
Yeah. We succeeded in the ascension, but do not deliver with the landing. We're both on the ground laughing, and next thing I know, we're smooching.
Ooh.
We share a look like, did that really just happen? Before laughing again, but she held my hand the entire walk back to the cabin.
Okay.
And then her heart ascended.
Yeah.
It went to the next plane of existence, yeah.
We began dating in secret then, mainly because she hadn't told her father she wasn't straight yet, but also because we didn't want to be observed or watched. We wanted our relationship to look like a really close friendship so we wouldn't have to part. Also then, like, you know, sleepovers. Parents aren't like...
no teenage pregnancy, though. So that's how...
Oh, yeah.
So, hey, there's a plus side to it.
That's the best part of being gay, is no pregnancy.
Unless there's just
things.
like, you know, immaculate conception. You're like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
You know?
That's, Christian camp.
I'm just
Anything
saying.
could happen.
I'm just saying. Could happen.
Anything could happen.
Mm-hmm.
These are people who believe in that, right? Or at least the
Maybe.
parents do.
Which, of course, got harder and harder as we got more comfortable, and eventually we got too comfortable and slipped up. Krista was excitedly talking one Sunday at the set of couches that was at the back of the youth room. I didn't even think before I leaned in and kissed her cheek, just so enamored with her in that moment.
Aww.
Just her cheek.
That could be anything, you know?
Yeah.
I've kissed many cheeks in my days.
Yeah. That's not, I don't feel like that's really, which cheek was it though?
Ding, ding, ding.
Because, that might get a little weird. You're roll over, babe. It wasn't until I heard, did you just kiss her? That I realized I'd kissed her cheek in front of people. I still don't think that's that weird.
Yeah, but you're at a Christian church.
Like,
it's French, you know? She's like, I French the other side.
I was just practicing.
They're not French, they're American.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So.
Yeah, but that's the way you do it. You go over one side, then you do the other one, and maybe you go a third side just to be like, we're practicing.
Yes.
That's what the Europeans do. And they go, heathens!
I love Europe because any cigarette you smoke there doesn't count.
Yeah, Europe is cool like that.
Look at that.
From there, it spiraled out of control, and it wasn't long before her dad found out and put the pieces together. You're probably scared at this point in the story, but you don't need to be. Krista told me that he sat her down and just asked for the truth, and she told him, and he just hugged her. He asked us to keep the door cracked whenever we hung out, but he said that God calls us to love all, and that's not exclusionary. That's a nice church.
Wow.
good job.
Look at
Yeah, congrats on not being the worst.
that. Mm-hmm.
So, an unexpectedly wholesome twist to a common story. I'm very lucky for that church letting me and Krista both figure ourselves out at that time, and glad her dad wasn't a dickhead. Yeah, that's a nice ending.
It's a great story.
Love that. That is it for Delve Deck Stories. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, you can like, subscribe, and check out some of our other videos. And if you have a story that you would like to share with us, you can go to share.delvedeck.com and we might read it on an episode.
Okay, bye.
See ya.